Hello and welcome once again to another episode of CasualCraft with me, RedRipz. And on Star Station today we'll be seeing in the bottom left-hand corner Avaril, the blue Zerg player here. He's named after a cleaning product, perhaps? I'm not entirely sure. And meanwhile, in the top right-hand corner, we have Vladimir, the red Terran player, going for the full Russian effect here in the top right-hand corner of Star Station today. Now, this is the fourth cast I've done, and I've been having a lot of fun with it, to be honest. I've been really trying to improve the way I'm talking and trying to make it clear and also eloquent in the sense of what I'm talking about, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I have no idea. Anyway, we'll just go along with it. We'll see how it goes. Now, the Star Station is a relatively big map, so it should be quite good for the Zerg player usually with the engagements, because it means you've got plenty of space to get a good surround on. However, the Terran player, if he sort of sits back, he can get quite a good wall off here and can essentially do quite a comfortable two-base without any real sort of issue of high levels of pressure, I guess. This is a gold league game again, so we've got gold v gold, and this was just a replay I found on the internet essentially, so we'll see how it goes. I think it's relatively recent. So essentially from the start here we'll be seeing, I guess, a barracks coming out from Vladimir here at the front. Nothing creepy and bizarre. Yep, absolutely straight away. No initial cheese from Vladimir, who's now scouting as well with his first SCV. This is essentially looking for the other base to find out where his opponent is. He's not actually going to find it up there though, of course, because his opponent isn't actually there. I'm pretty sure that cross positions is the only spawn type now on the ladder maps, but well, I'm not entirely sure, so we'll just go with it. He keeps scouting nonetheless. Meanwhile, the Zerg player obviously has headed to the bottom right-hand corner as well, so perhaps it isn't, and I'm just completely wrong. Maybe it was just talked about. Who knows? Anyway, so we'll be getting the barracks down out of the red Terran player Vladimir here, while his SCV runs down towards the Zerg base, where we're seeing a hatchery come out first from Avaril on 17 supply, I think that actually was, which was quite a late hatchery, but nonetheless it will do. And we're instantly seeing a spawning pool down as well, and I'd imagine soon some gas if he's going to go early speed. Yep, there we are straight away, and that should be for some initial lings to run around the map and see what they can do, I guess. We're going to see some overlords obviously in the other bases, just to make sure there's nothing too busy going on. However, the blue Zerg player can't actually get in because the wall off has been completed. The Terran can actually raise and lower these supply depots. This allows his own units to move in and out, but obviously with 3 buildings along the front, the Zerg player can't get into the base, and he's going to have to leave. Scouting information not in hand. We're seeing a second refinery now come down from Vladimir, so I imagine it's going to go into some sort of tech-heavy build. We're also seeing a factory come out, so this would confirm that. We might possibly see some Hellbats here. It's a pretty common sight now in Terrans, and I'd imagine that would be probably loaded up in Medivacs and dropped somewhere. It's the way to do it, because the Medivacs are so ridiculously strong with the Hellbats as well, because obviously you can heal Hellbats using your Medivac, and like I learned the other day, obviously you need Armory first. So if we see the Armory come down, then we'll definitely know that we're getting Hellbats out, and that will be a relatively powerful one-base thing to do, actually, considering the Zerg hasn't yet taken isn't aiming to take a third straight away. He's just going straight for the 2-base plan. So this could hit in decent time. We'll see what happens. Now we're not yet seeing speed out the Zerg player, despite the fact he's saved up enough gas. So I'm not quite sure what he's doing. He might be waiting to go a layer first instead, after this initial queen is finished. Meanwhile, the first set of lings have spawned. They'll be running out across the map to hold these the Zelnaga watchtowers. And I'd imagine take this one off the SCV here at the top end of the map. Meanwhile, we've got a drone wandering around doing very little. We have some Marines coming out from the red Terran player Vladimir here. He's just churning them out of his barracks. I'm also seeing a starport come down, so this would be, I imagine, be some Medivacs. We're seeing an armory as well, so yeah, I think we're going to see Hellbat drops this game, unless I'm very, very much mistaken. Meanwhile, seeing more mules come in from Vladimir. This is all very Terran-y, one-basey stuff. It's all very nice. We're going to see 3 Marines move out now to clear out the Zelnaga watchtowers from the Zerg player again, so that he maintains map control. And you can see if the Zerg is coming at him with a whole ton of lings or something like that, which is fairly Zergy. We're seeing more queens coming out now, the Zerg player, and I imagine we'll see some creep spread started as well as continuous droning up from here, as we're seeing more and more drones. Although we do have 10 lings coming out, so we'll see where these go and what they have to do. Perhaps they're just defensive. We might see some banelings or something like that. That's quite a common sight from defensive Zergs. Although he is pooling gas for something and still hasn't taken speed nor his layer, so I'm not quite sure what he's doing. He might be waiting for, maybe he's going double evos or something strange, or perhaps he's just forgotten. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll wait and see. Meanwhile, we're going to get some scouting coming in with an overlord here. He should be able to find out exactly what's going on here, and unsurprisingly, yet we've got a Medivac coming out, loading up with 2 Hellbats, and that will be going off for the drop. So the Zerg player knows it's coming. We might be seeing some sort of reaction out of him pretty soon regarding this. And yep, straight away we're getting spine crawlers and spore crawlers out in his bases. This should help thwart the attack, although I'd imagine, to be honest, Hellbats are so ridiculously strong they're going to really struggle. We are seeing these few Zerglings that were at the top end of the map played up here by the two Hellbats, which are getting healed up to full health again, and I imagine they'll be loaded up and sent straight away down into the Zerg's base. Meanwhile, at the Terran's base, we're seeing another set of Hellbats with a Medivac come out, so I imagine these will come in either with or perhaps in a different location. And we're seeing a command center as well now. Obviously, here we go. The Medivacs are heading off down at the bottom end of the map. So we're going to see, I'd imagine, simultaneous drops in both bases. This is really difficult to do with as a Zerg player. It's bad enough having one set of Hellbats in your base. Having two sets is an absolute nightmare. So in response to that, obviously, we're going to see some Roach Warrens. We're going to see more in the way of Spine Crawlers, I would imagine. Perhaps just the one, maybe additional Queens, nothing really yet in response. This is going to really struggle to deal with this here, Avaril. Vladimir is just going to drop the Hellbat straight in, and immediately the drones start falling. And we'll have a look at the workers kill tab here, and this is going up and up and up. So this is really, really powerful for Vladimir here. He's taken on 7 workers already with very, very little effort. And equally, we're having the other Medivac come in. We're seeing another 2 Hellbats in the second base now of Avaril, and more workers falling down to 10. Might see some more. The Hellbat and Medivacs actually fall there. That was quite strong from him. Might see Vladimir coming in again here. Yep, just to kill off even more drones. It's so difficult to deal with as a Zerg player. So this, once again, it could be the end of the game right here if this, unless Avaril can in some way come back from this. Although he's still not managing to actually deal with the 2 Hellbats here, which are just being healed forever by the Medivac. And as the Roaches come in, this should help deal with it. Although as he's running the Spine Crawler, yes, we are going to see the last of the Hellbats there, and the Medivac is going to escape. So that's a total of 21 workers killed for Vladimir there. He's miles ahead in terms of economy. Meanwhile, he's taking a second base. He's also getting down a spare 3 barracks, an extra engineering bay. He's pulling down more and more workers, I would imagine. Yeah, absolutely. We're not seeing anything more at the factories and starports yet, but we're still seeing more and more workers, Marines come out of the multiple barracks which he's building. So I imagine he's going to get a lot of ground units out now to accompany his Widow Mines, which he's put out down the front here to protect his soon-to-be second base. So meanwhile, the Zerg player in response has taken a 3rd base. This is quite a dangerous response, I guess, because he doesn't really have enough drones in his main base, never mind enough to sort of go for a 3rd, but it doesn't matter. We'll get that up. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully he should be able to get enough going there before the Terran decides to move out. The Terran, meanwhile, is actually really, really walling down here, so I don't think we might actually be seeing any sort of move out from him from quite a while, which may well allow the Zerg to get this 3rd base up safely and then build some sort of army behind it, which would be very, very dangerous to the Terran player, because the Zerg player, you always want to be a base up on the Terran player, really, and to have that advantage of an extra 1/3 of an economy over him, plus the extra production from the extra hatchery. It's really quite special. An advantage for Avaril here in this gold game. And so obviously on the main base now we're seeing additional missile turrets come down. This should help deal with any air attack, or I suppose invisible units like changelings perhaps, or like, I'm not sure. The advantage of missile turrets is that they can shoot up, but they also detect invisible units, so if there's burrowed roaches or anything like that. I don't think that's really going to be the issue here, though. I think he's more worried about Mutalisks, which when you're losing as a Zerg player, throwing down a 3rd, grabbing those extra 2 gases and just going into Mutalisks is always possible. However, he's not gone in any way towards the mass gas here. He's just getting out his 2nd. He does have speed up now. He's getting his layer down. We might be seeing some sort of upgrades to the roaches, perhaps. No, we're seeing burrow. So perhaps I was completely wrong, and we are going to see some sort of burrowed units here, so we'll see how this one goes. Meanwhile, the Terran player here is amassing a small army of Marines with... They do not yet have combat shield. We've got 5 Widow Mines here and 2 Medivacs. Small force, shouldn't do too much unless the Zerg player doesn't get anything out, and he hasn't actually seen it coming, I don't think, as this Overlord's a little bit too far away to do that. So I do believe that the Zerg player is going to have a real difficulty doing this. He doesn't actually have any real units of his own at this stage. He's got a small force of Zerglings with a few roaches, but it's not really... I think it's going to struggle to deal with that. If you can get the mines burrowed anyway before the Zerg player actually turns up. Now, this is really, really dangerous here for Avaril. So, yeah, especially once the mines get burrowed. So if the Marines can just camp around the back of here, if the Zerg moves in, he's going to get absolutely struck by those mines. Although he's positioning the mines in completely the wrong place here, in that respect. Although we might be seeing some epic... Oh my goodness, that was all the Zerglings died there. And that's a real problem here for Avaril, who's now just losing Queens. He started losing his roaches as well, although I'm not sure if they're actually can see if they die. It depends when the mines get back, and we are going to see a pick up here, and he's not going to continue the attack for now. So what we're going to see is we're going to see more spore crawlers, we're going to see more spine crawlers out of Avaril, and this should all form part of a relatively turtley defence for a Zerg player. So meanwhile, in the top right hand corner of the map, Vladimir is continuing to SCV up. He's got missile turrets in each of his bases now. He's getting more supply depots down. He's double stacking Widow mines, as well as getting a third command centre down. So we'll be seeing a third base out of him, perhaps here, or maybe even down the front here. We'll see which position he deems easiest to defend. Meanwhile, there's been some battling going on down the bottom here. Widow mines getting some more kills. This one here, 16 kills. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, this is the guy here. 16 kills on the Zerglings there. It's absolutely ridiculous. However, with this number of Widow mines on the floor, it's really difficult to do with the Zerg player without any vision whatsoever. Especially because there just isn't any vision for him. I'm not sure entirely why he's running that. They have the opportunity to kill some more, because the Widow mines were going quite a while away from any sort of continued response there. Meanwhile, in the main base there is a drop going on, and we're going to be seeing the hatchery. The layer, sorry, might well fall here if the roaches can't deal with this. This is not really looking very good at all for Avaril now. He's running out of drones once again, and we're down to 37 workers killed here and 87 units killed. It's a really, really, really strong attack from Vladimir once again. We've seen losses on all fronts here. I can't really see at this stage how much longer there is left in the game for Avaril here, since he's so far behind in economical terms. His only real mining base now is his second, and there's so many things going on here. However, the Lings are going to clean up this attack in the main base. The main layer will not actually fall, and it looks like we're going to see a sacrifice of Medivac here while we're on the subject. We do get the drones back to mining, and we are going to see all these Lings, I'd imagine, die pretty soon if they stick anywhere near those Widow mines. We'll see a pickup for the rest of the troops for Vladimir, and he will be moving back up the map with even more troops. The Marines now have combat shield. We're also getting 2-2 out of the Terran player, and we're seeing an infestation pick come down out of the Zerg. This is a desperation move. I think he's going to try and get a couple of infestors out or something like that, just to try and clear this up, or maybe probably you need a lot of swarm hosts for them to be in any way effective, whereas a couple of good fungals can be really good against Terran. So I'd imagine the best thing, to be honest, here would be Ling Bling with a few infestors behind it or something like that would be really effective against this sort of pressure. However, it's a bit too late for him at this stage. He doesn't have enough economy to do anything such like. He's lost his third base, no Avaril, and this is looking pretty much GG for the player here in Gold League. And Gold League, he will be remaining as Vladimir here is quite happily marching on his way to a victory here, with more and more Marines forming up at his main base, as well as more and more Widow mines. We're seeing a continued move out from the player here into the second base of Avaril, and I think this might well be the end of the game right here with this push. And it does look like, however, Avaril will be continuing to try and fight, even despite he doesn't have any units. He is getting 4 infestors out now, as I thought he might try with the upgrade, although the pathogen glands upgrade is a little bit too late compared to the timing of building the infestors to get any advantage. And Avaril has left the game without a GG. It's been a very much over game for a very long period of time, I feel, for this player, as he's lost so many drones to the Hellbat drops. It was absolutely incredible, to be honest, the sheer number of drones lost. Meanwhile, at the Terran's base, he was building a third. He was getting all sorts of economy down. There was no way that Avaril could have come back and beaten Vladimir here. So thanks once again for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you've enjoyed what I've done. Let me know how I'm doing. I'm always welcome to feedback and comments, good and bad, as long as they're relatively constructive, I guess. I'm just trying to see what I can do, really. Anyway, so thanks once again, and GG.